So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how I will access my Windows Server hosted on this AWS and complete cybersecurity task, which includes network port analysis, service identification, firewall configuration, and schedule task creation. And as you can see, I am logged into my AWS Management Console, and I'm going to start my lab so that I can navigate into the EC2 dashboard. So I'm going to press this green button, and it's directing me to the EC dashboard, where I'm going to select my instance type. I'm going to click on the instances, and here I'm going to now select my running Windows Server instance that we'll be using for this assignment, and which is this Mbone 235. And I'm going to refresh it so that you can check its status. The status here should be 2 out of 2 passed, but I think it's still internalizing because I had previously stopped the instance. So I'm going to go ahead and click connect. And here I'm now going to connect to the server using the remote desktop protocol, which is the RDP client. And through this, I will be able to use my administrator credential that we are going to decrypt, and it's going to be able to allow me access my Windows Server desktop environment. So I'm going to download here remote desktop, which, as you can see here, it's downloaded. And then for me to get my password, I am going to upload a private key that I had downloaded previously. It's here on the downloads. Then we decrypt the password, and here's my password. I'm going to copy it. As you can see, password copied. So we are now going to open this remote desktop, and it says the publisher of this remote connection can't be identified. Do you want to connect anyway? So we are going to connect, and I'm being asked for my administrator password, and remember we copied the password that we had decrypted, and I'm going to press OK. Yes, connect anyway. Let's say yes. So finally, we are logging inside my Windows Server desktop. And yes, as you can see, we are inside the Windows Server desktop environment. So first, on our first assignment, I'm just going to read through what the first assignment says. I had already gone through the assignment, so I'm just going to go through the read through quickly. So the first assignment is network ports, and use either PowerShell or command prompt to display a list of active network connection, listening ports, and the associated process IDs. PIDs. Identify 2 port numbers and look up what they are typically used for. During your video, explain which ones you picked and what you learned about them. So back into my remote desktop. So I'm going to open Windows PowerShell, and I'm going to type here netstat then space dash Anna. Then I'm going to press enter, then succeed for it to stop running. So now after this, I'm now going to check the active network connection and the listening ports using the netstat command with the dash anno flag. And as you can see, this shows all the active ports, their status, and the associated process PIDs. So for my assignment, I will be taking the port 3389, and this port is used for remote desktop protocol, and it allows me to remotely access my Windows Server from my local computers we have just done here. So I'm going to search it up on Google to just confirm port 3389. And as you can see here, it says it is a default network port used by the Microsoft Remote Desktop Protocol, which is the RDP. So next, I will be selecting my port 53, which is this port here. And this is the DNS port, and it is used by the DNS services. It helps in translating domain names like, let's say, google.com into IP addresses. So I'm also just going to search it up to confirm port 53, which is the DNS port. And as you can see, it's a dedicated network port used by the domain name system. Yes, it translates the domain names into IP addresses. So we are done with the first assignment. So on our next assignment, number 2, it says running services. Use the service tool within the Service Manager or PowerShell stroke command line to see a list of running services. Identify few services that are related to network communication. Identify 2 services that look up what they are typically used for. During a video, explain which ones you picked and what you learned about them. So back into my remote desktop, I'll be using PowerShell for this second assignment. I'm going to type here service .msc, then press enter. It should be services. I think my computer is hanging. So I'm just going to retype. It's supposed to be services.msc. Enter. Yeah, as you can see, it took us directly into the server manager. And for number 2, the assignment said identify few services that are related to network connection. And for my assignment, I will be selecting 2. I'm going to go with the Active Directory Domain Services, which is also known as the ADDS. And this ADDS manages users, computers, and authentication within a domain environment, as most of us know. And then for my second, I'm going to go with the DNS service. DNS. Yeah. DNS services here. And as you can see, this is responsible for resolving any domain name into an IP address, like I had said on the number 1 task that we had done previously. And this allows users and devices to access resources using easy to remember names instead of using numerical IP addresses. So we are done with assignment 2. We have identified 2 connections and we have stated their functions. So assignment number 3 says create a firewall rules that allows inbound and outbound traffic on port 50,000. This rule should be for port TCP only. Show these settings in your screen recording, including how to turn this rule on and off. So back into my remote desktop, I'm just going to exit PowerShell. I think we are done using it. So I'm going to type here Windows Defender and Advanced Security. Then on our assignments, we have been told to use the inbound rule and the outbound rule. So I had already done this assignment before, so this is just a walkthrough. So I'm going to select the inbound rule, and as you can see, I had already allowed the 50,000 for my specific port. So on how I did it, I just came here to new rule, and then I selected the port rule that controls connection for TCP or UDP. Then next, I left this TCP checked the way it is, and then I filled here the 50,000 for my specific port number. Then next, then I left this checked, allow connection. Then next, and for my name, I stated allow TCP, TCP 50,000 inbound. And then I clicked finish. Now I won't be doing that because I had already done it. So that is what I did for the inbound, as you can see. Next, on the outbound, I just did the same thing. I came here to the new rule, selected ports. This is the rule that the rule that controls connection for the TCP or UDP ports. Then I clicked next. I left this check and I filled here the 50,000 specific remote ports. Then I allowed for connection. Then next, and I renamed it the same as I had done for the inbound. Allow TCP 50,000 inbound, outbound, outbound. And I clicked finish, which I won't be doing here because I had already done it. And as you can see, I can enable this rule or disable it anytime I want. If I click here and disable rule here on the left side, as you can see, it's disabled. I can enable it anytime I want. Same to the inbound. If I click it, I can disable the rule. I can enable the rule anytime I want. So that is all about my assignment. And as you can see, I have created the firewall rules to allow inbound and outbound traffic on TCP port 50,000. This ensures that application using this port can communicate through the firewall easily. So on my last assignment, it says create a scheduled task of your choice with the task scheduler that executes daily. In your recording, show the scheduler task in task scheduler, then run the schedule task on demand. Select one of these. So either calculator, notepad, command prompt, paint, a program of your choice, then launch a website and append current date to file. So back into my remote desktop, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to type here task scheduler, and here it is. So I had already also done this assignment. As you can see, if I check here on the task scheduler library, I had done this and I had renamed my task as OpenCMD. So just to go through the walkthrough of how I created this, I came here to create basic task on the left side, and then name, I selected open, I typed open CMD, and then I clicked next. When do you want the tasks to start? I selected daily. You can choose any time of the any time that you're comfortable with. Then next, and for my timing, I'll just leave it as it is. Then next, for my action, I'm going to select start program and leave it as it is default. Then the program script, since I picked the OpenCMD, I'm going to type here cmd.exe. Then next, and then I should press finish, but I won't be doing that, like I said, since this assignment is something that I've already done. So that is all the steps that I took. I'm just going to close here, and to confirm that my scheduled task is running, what I'm going to do, I am going to come here and right click this. I'm just going to right click it and press run. And as you can see here, I am manually running the schedule task to demonstrate that this executes successfully on demand. So that was all about the assignment. And in these demonstrations, I have shown how to analyze network ports using the netstat command, identify key services like the DNS and the Active Directory. We have configured firewall rules for TCP port 50,000 and also created a run a schedule task in my Windows Server. So follow up for more videos. If you like my video, you can follow. Feel free to share, comment, subscribe. Yes, thank you.